Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs, adopted, grafted, natural, spiritual. I hope that this video finds you all well. Hope it finds you all well. Okay, so you're not used to me coming on in the morning, but I thought it would be a good time to come on, and I'm just going to wait a few minutes for a few more to tag on in. Hope everything is well with everybody. You see what I very strongly named this: no 2020 election, no NBA, no NFL, no Major League Baseball, but keep the faith, keep the faith. If you see what I called this title this morning, bright and early as I head out to work: no 2020 election, no NBA, no NFL, no minor league baseball. Keep the faith. All right, so let's dive into the subject. You don't have to be a prophet, and I'm not a prophet. I'm a teacher, not a prophet. But I'm just sharing with you what the inevitable is. The NBA canceled their season, canceled. Any event that is going to have a large masses of people, those events will be canceled. Right now it's voluntary, but the practice can remain voluntary as long as people continue to do the right things. I'm talking about like concerts, sporting events, all of that stuff. How you doing, Brother Ricky? As long as those individuals continue to take the initiative on their own, there won't need to be an executive order to say that all events such as these will no longer convene. Again, the NBA canceled their season. Probably a smart thing to do, as well as probably, how you doing, Shen? Probably the NFL season is going to be canceled. Major League Baseball is going to soon follow, hockey, etc. And that leads me to the election. There won't be a 2020 election. That's going to be obvious. Donald Trump would always look for a reason to maintain himself in office. And whenever you have a gathering such as this, it has to be done. It's something that has to be done because you can't continue to convene where there's large masses of people and not contaminate anybody. So that's just common sense. It's not prophetic or anything like that. These are worst case scenarios that we're drawing out to you. Worst case scenarios. How you doing? How you doing, my brother? These are worst case scenarios. I don't see a 2020 election. NBA has suspended its season. NFL will follow suit. Minor League Baseball will follow its suit. And depending on the outcome of the virus, decisions will be made from there. This is a virus that lasts on any surface for about up to 24 hours. And so the only way to deal with a virus like this is quarantine. And when I mean by quarantine, even the country has to be quarantined. Why are we still doing international flights? I don't know. But international flights have to come to a halt in America. I know that there's people that probably has relatives in other countries, but international flight has to stop if we intend to deal with this virus in the United States. We have to look at what happened in the other countries: Iran, Italy, and you have to learn those practices and look at the historical outcome of those things and say that don't work, so let's not do that. Let's do something a little bit more aggressive. And I give you an example. Cruise ships have to stop. You know, all international modes, means of travel has to stop. It's the only way you're going to get on top of a virus like this. Even if it's for 30 days, it has to stop. You almost have to shut everything down for 30 days because if you don't shut everything down, the virus can go away. It will die. And then what you have to do is the only way it can die is when you just shut everything down in America. It's going to continue its spread. That's the way a virus works. It continues to spread. This is like when you're living in a home and somebody catches the flu. It's inevitable that everybody else in the family is going to catch the flu. You know, it's just the way it works. So if all the other countries have the virus, it's inevitable that all the other countries are going to catch the virus. But it's how you handle it. And one way to deal with it is to simply shut everything down. That's it. And Trump cannot wait to do that. This is where politics comes in. If Trump does it now, it's going to be a political move, and it's going to be politicized that he's only doing it because he wants to stay in office. So what he has to do is he has to allow people in the United States to catch the virus. He has to allow these in private, and I call the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, these concerts, all of these events, we call them private because they're not publicly operated. They're not governmentally operated. They can be governmentally persuaded, but not operated. So the decision right now they have been doing is saying, listen, no more NBA games. We can't bring people in. Now, Rudy Colbert is from France, and he was involved in some international travel or contact with somebody with international travel, relative or something, and he contracted this virus. And as a result, you know, he was jokingly touching microphones at a press conference a short time ago and saying that the virus was being blown out of proportion. It's not being blown out of proportion. You look at what happened in Japan, that's serious. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. Now, the cases in Japan are, the rate of cases are starting to subside, and it's because Japan shut everything down. You know, they shut down a whole city, and that's what you have to do. America has to shut everybody out and shut everybody in. That's the only way you deal with this virus. And just plainly stop international travel. Everybody that came into contact with this virus is because there was international, the nexus is international travel. That's the nexus. That's the common denominator with everybody who has contracted the virus in the United States, and from there people go. So those people have touched individuals, and those individuals that they touch, it goes like this: 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, becomes 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, 1,024, and 2,048, and etc. That's how it becomes. That's how quick things spread. Just as quick as I ratted out those numbers by doubles, that's how this virus has gone. The impact and the effects of it you'll see in the weeks to come, because those people who were contacted have not yet experienced symptoms. It takes, according to the CDC, 5 days and afterwards to start looking at it. And the virus, then you have to quarantine yourself and so nobody else contracts it. Um, it's going to impact everybody. It really is. Um, Remember, no evil happens and the Lord have not done it. That's the scripture. So whether it's something that was created in a lab, whether it's conspiracy theory or whether it's a plan to whatever, no evil happens and the Lord have not done it. That's just the way that operates. God is always in control. That's the scripture. He's always in control. And he told us these things would happen. So what do? We pray and we maintain our faith. Faith without works is dead. So you pray, that's your faith. Your works is keep hand sanitizer around you. You know what I'm saying? Keep it around you. I got mine. Keep, going and traveling and going to events is just not the right time. It's just not it. Spring break is coming around the corner. I had plans to go to, take my daughter to Orlando. It ain't happening. It's just simple as that. It's not happening. If you pray, Lord, and every morning my family and I pray. And I said, Lord, keep your hedge around us and let us make wise decisions in our contact with others. But keep your hedge around us. So what does that mean? That's prayer, but faith without works is dead. So you have to do your works. You got to train your children. Somebody coughing, walk the other direction and limit where you go at. This is a good time to pay your cable bill, by the way. Keep that cable up. If you're a movie person, I would not be going to the movies. That's just me, but I wouldn't be going. It's probably the best time to do online stuff, and that's just the way it is. And when you do online stuff, when they ship it to you, let it sit outside for a little while. Pick it up, pick up some gloves, and wipe the box off. You don't know what the driver's been, who he's in contact with. Let that virus, if he sneezed on that box, let that thing die. And any virus does die when it's out in the open air. It does die. It doesn't. This virus does not. It does not live long outside the body. And so it's just. I was getting ready to say that's what it's designed to do, but no virus lives outside the body or outside of the source long. It just doesn't. It's just scientifically, that's just the way things are. But inside of a source, in a body, it can last and it has to go through its phases. But I can tell you, it's just business-wise and common sense-wise to protect yourself. It's just the way it is. Like I said, all these kids, this virus has known historically, based upon where it's doing in other countries, to have very little to no contact or effect on children. Anybody that is elderly and that has chronic illnesses, it can be serious if you contract this virus. But again, I don't see an election coming forth. I see when you got things like the NBA saying we're done, the NFL is going to follow. And once they follow. Now, the only thing the NFL could do is just simply say, we'll play the games, but we're not going to have anybody in the stands. And I doubt if that happens. They may just cancel the season. A lot of money lost. I don't know what that does to some of these players. Some players, they get these big fat checks and they spend them because they think they're going to get paid the following season. Everything is for granted. And I can tell you that even for the past week or so, when I go to the grocery store, I pick up extra stuff and I stock it. Pick it up extra stuff and stock it. And that's just what you have to do. You just have to do diligence in there. I'm not going in there and buying up the whole store. But what I do is when I do go grocery shopping, I get extra water, I get extra Gatorade, I get extra canned goods, non-perishables and stuff like that. Soy milk, this is a good time to start switching over to soy milk. When you buy soy milk, it will last. The expiration date is like 4 months. As long as you use it within 4 months. My family and I have been on soy milk for, I don't know how long, maybe 10 years. We just don't drink regular milk. That's it. Again, I don't see no election. NBA's canceled. NFL will soon follow. Major League Baseball will soon follow. And when that happens, it gives, that's the evidence that Donald Trump is looking for, to basically say there will be no 2020 election. And he will get the support from the Senate because most of them are Republicans. He will not get the support from the House of Representatives because they want an election. They want him out. But it is what it is. Again, you don't have to be a prophet to see that stuff. It's inevitable. It's on the wall. It's right there before you. And it's common sense. I remember a few weeks ago, I said, they need to stop international travel. You want to get a hold of this virus, stop international travel into the country. That's it. Just stop international travel. You do that, you'll be fine. And you need to stop it for a good 30 days or more until all the cases no longer show. And then when you screen people come in, you got to screen them. Well, what country are you coming from? And then just say that no connecting flights, anybody coming from these countries, anybody's passport that came from within the past 30 days from a country that has been heavily infected, you can't come in, can't get past customs. It's just that simple. And that's what you do after 60 days of no international travel. And then if you want to travel outside the country, they're going to tell you, we're going to, you got to sign something that if you leave out, there's a possibility you won't be able to come back in. That's the way that is. And that's what has to happen to get on top of this virus. But in the meantime, people of God, keep the faith. Keep meditating in the Word. Don't turn to the left. Don't turn to the right. And the Almighty will keep a hedge around us. If you never needed the Lord before, you need Him now. There's a song that says, I am a friend of God. I am a friend of God. I can sing with music, but I'm a friend of God. And I didn't become a friend of God as a result of something happening. That's how you know true friends. God knows who His friends are. Trust me, He knows who His friends are. He knows who His people are. Some people pray and they get themselves right only when something happens. That's it. And then as soon as everything goes away, they go right back to their devilish ways. Don't think the Almighty don't see that. Don't think that He don't realize that. So if you're going to get right, don't play with God. I can tell you that right now. Don't play Don't think that he's not an all-knowing God. He is. So we have to get right, stay right, and do your due diligence. It's about the best. This is a time for us as people of the book to spend more time with family, spend more time in the book, spend more time learning, and this is the time to stay prayed up and what have you, and to really meditate in the Word. That's what He told us to do. Is to meditate in your Word. How do you meditate in the Word? You read it, you study it, you ponder on it, you go back, you look at it, and you do it section by section, subject and title. It's the best way to deal with this Word. Psalms 91 is one of my favorite right now, absolutely. Brother Israel says Psalms 103, brother. And this is what you have to do. You got to stay where you need to stay. You need to do what you need to do. And use due diligence. That's all. Use due diligence. You know, I went to the grocery store the other day, and they have a canister of sanitation wipes. I took it, I wiped the bar off before, but when I prayed, I said, you know what? Faith without works is dead. I'm not going to just say, Lord, protect me from the fire, and then turn around and walk in the fire. No, that's tempting the Lord. So how do you do it? What you do is you go in, and I took sanitation wipes. So I wiped off the little bar for the shopping cart, because I had to push it. I had to put my hands there. How you doing, Miss B? And I wiped it off, you know. And that's the way it is. I get to work, I wipe off my computer board. Even though it was me sitting there, I wipe it off. I wipe off my phone. And if people sniffing and coughing, you know, I don't shake hands no more. I don't shake hands no more. I just don't, you know, because this is where the works comes in at. And brothers and sisters, this is the time to do the works. So I'll leave this with you. There will be no 2020 election. Handwriting is on the wall. Donald Trump is going to love this. And he's going to love it because he don't have to worry about it. He gets to stay in office. And so that's the way that's going to be. And any other elections that causes large gatherings, unless they can implement something where people can electronically do it, and we know in the past that does not work, don't work. So with all of these other private places saying no more NBA, and there's going to soon be no NFL, no NBA, no Major League Baseball, no concerts. All of this stuff is going to get knocked down. No concerts, so none of that. It's not going to happen. And it's not wise to go anyway. It's really not. It's just, you know, this ain't a good time. I got a call the other day from Carnival. I shouldn't say the cruise line. Let me just leave that out. I got a call, and they wanted to give me a trip on the cruise line for the purposes of sharing information about the cruise. And I told the person, so how much is this cruise? Well, no, it's a free cruise, but you've been selected because you've been a cruiser in the past. And I said, respectfully, y'all can't pay me to take a cruise right now. You know what they did? They hung up. They didn't even say goodbye. They just hung up. I said, y'all cannot pay me to take a cruise right now. I'm sorry. You couldn't come to me and say, listen, we're going to give you $2,500. We want you to take a cruise and be a promoter of the new cruise ship. No, not taking a cruise ship. Those people on those other cruises out there, they had to enter into an agreement. That's what took them that's why they were out there in the water off the coast for so long, because They said, we're not going to let y'all come in. We'll let you come in if you sign an agreement. And you know what the agreement was? The agreement was is that you would leave that cruise ship and go straight to a military base. I'm praying about a fast, brother. I'm seeking the Most High right here with New Year coming in. But can we get together on that Friday night? Yeah, let me say this. I may talk about it on Friday night a little bit. Elder Robert Johnson is going to teach. I want to stay on par, and the reason is because I have a hedge of protection, and I'm being wise, and I want to help our subscribers to be wise, but we cannot miss a traditional lesson. I think it's wise that we do little stuff like this to let people know what's happening from our perspective and on our channel. But I think that we may spend about 10 to 15 minutes on it and then get right into our lesson. So we'll do that, Brother Rick, just to keep people abreast. But right now, look at the title of this. No NBA, no NFL. NFL has not made that announcement yet. Major League Baseball has not made that announcement yet. It's coming. Therefore, that's all the stuff that Donald Trump needs to say we need to postpone the 2020 election. That's my take. Peace.